Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Thursday and we've got some stuff to talk about. We've got to talk about the new Scream rumor that says that she could have friends from the other movies returning. And we're going to break down who we think that could be. So let's jump right into it. First off, I do want to address another rumor. There is a rumor going around that says that Scream 7 has a working title, and this working title is supposedly Scar Tissue. From everything I have heard and things I have been following throughout the past year or so, there is a movie called Scar Tissue that is about the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I don't think that's the same movie. So I'm not going to address that until I do hear something more concrete. Okay, so we have to talk a little bit about something that was said about Scream 7 because now it looks as though we are getting some other people returning to the franchise. But who? Because we know that Gale Weathers will probably return. We know that Kincaid will probably return. We know that Kirby will return. That doesn't leave a whole lot of people that are left alive that could be returning to the franchise. So you might be asking, what's up then? Does this mean Stu is coming back? That also hasn't been confirmed. However, according to Beyond the Mask on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, Scream 7 has promised to unite old friends with Sidney Prescott. Is there anybody else you'd like to see return? So this is what Beyond the Mask has pondered. Is there anybody you'd want to see return? Because apparently they heard this is happening. So this raises a question. If you go beyond the people we know are returning or we suspect will return, who else is there that's left alive who is a friend of Sidney's that could return? There's not a whole lot of people here. Now, they are talking about people from the previous movies that they could bring back again. There's not a lot to go on here. There's not a lot of people that you can bring in to the series from past movies that's going to excite the fans. However, what if you take a look at some characters that survived that are at least memorable to Scream fans? So we're kind of going to take a look at some possibilities here of what they could mean by this. Who could actually come back if this rumor turns out to be true? And first up on our list of possible people that could come back that would be really interesting is Martha Meeks, played by Heather Matarazzo, and she appeared actually in Scream 5. She had a cameo in Scream 5. She is the mother of the twins, but her brother was Randy Meeks. Now, she actually did appear before this all in Scream 3. That's where we first saw her. She was delivering a message from the late Randy Meeks, her brother, about how to survive a horror movie. She was then given this cameo in the requel movie, and we got to meet her twins. Now, I don't think that her twins will end up appearing in any capacity in this movie. That is a possibility, but I really just don't see it happening. But with her reappearing, it could prove to be really interesting. And she would know Sidney Prescott. She would know her very well because her brother was one of Sidney's best friends. And if we see her come back, why not see the father come back as well? Now, a lot of people have suspected that the father of Martha Meeks' children is Joel. Joel first appeared in Scream 2. He was the fresh-faced cameraman to Gale Weathers. Now, he is played by Duane Martin, and he is a well enough known actor that seeing him return into the franchise might excite some fans. He was a very well received character in the movie. People liked him, and he's often pondered as one of those characters that people ask what happened to him. And I think that's why that theory exists that he could in fact be the twins' father. Bringing him back in would make fans excited because he was a pretty well-liked character, and him being their father would be really interesting. Now, other than those two, though, you don't really have a lot of options. However, what if it's not so much friends of Sydney's in those movies, but characters who were acquaintances or even kind of rivals to her that would suddenly reemerge later on in her life after high school, after college, after these events that unfolded that could in fact be friends. So now we're going to take a look at some characters that lived that fans would be excited to see come back. First, we have the cheerleader in the bathroom along with her friend. These would be two really good choices. You might remember the cheerleader in the bathroom, played by Lenora Scalfo. And I hope I said her name right, but she is one that fans will instantly recognize, the cheerleader in the bathroom who's talking to her other friend, and her other friend is played by Nancy Ann Ritter. And the two of them are talking about Sidney Prescott, making fun of her in the bathroom, saying, what if she is the killer? And fan speculation over the years has wondered if she's one of the girls that Billy is seeing on the side. And this could be possible. A lot of times people ponder that he's seeing the girl in the video store on the side. And then these two girls, could he be seeing the cheerleader? And that's why she's so kind of against Sidney Prescott. That makes a little sense, and it could very well be the case. However, what makes these characters work on this list is that fans instantly recognize them, and the two actresses are known to go to several Comic-Con events, and they are very supportive of the Scream franchise and excited about the fact that they were in it. They often pose together as the bathroom girls, even taking selfies in bathrooms with fans, kind of mocking the situation that they found themselves in the movie. So these two characters, these two actresses coming back might actually excite fans, and you could have it situated as, oh, Sidney Prescott and them are now friends. They grew out of whatever whole situation they had back in high school, and they've grown up. They're now friends. This would also kind of lend a possibility that one of these two could in fact be Ghostface. Maybe they are hunting down Sidney Prescott all these years later. We just don't know. Next up on our list of possibilities, I put a really obscure one. If you remember in Scream 2, there was a phone call during the movie to Sidney, someone pretending to be Ghostface. Sidney Prescott had caller ID, and she actually calls this person out by name. The name is Corey Gillis, and she not only calls Corey out, but she gives his phone number and his address, basically telling him that she knows exactly where he lives, exactly where he's at, and making prank phone calls is a crime. So the reason I put him on this list, despite him actually never really appearing in the movie, is that it would be a nice callback. It would be something that would be really unique that we hadn't seen before. Someone who maybe feels like she did him wrong somehow all those years ago. Why? Maybe he really did intend to be Ghostface and just wasn't that good at the time, and this is his chance to actually make it all right and do what the rest of the Ghostface killers have never been able to do, take out Sidney Prescott. This could be a motive for him, and it would be one that would be a throwback to fans, because he surely wouldn't be using the name he used all the way back then. He'd be using an alias. He would actually be pretending to be her friend or a friend of the family, maybe a neighbor or something like that, worm his way into the situation, And even we wouldn't know who he really was until the end, because if they started off and they tell his name in the beginning, fans like us would figure it out. We would know that we've heard that name before, and it wouldn't take long for people to start talking. So just the fact that he would be in it would have to be a surprise, but it would be a rather interesting one to see, because something like that would be a shock. It would be something we weren't expecting, but it would be fun. The other person that I want to put on this list is it's been widely speculated that in Scream 3 there were two killers. And one of those killers is supposedly the actress Angelina Tyler, played by Emily Mortimer. And she did nothing in this movie to squash anybody's theory that she is not one of the killers. In fact, she is the only body that we see murdered in the movie that is then dragged off and never seen again. That is not really a Ghostface MO. So in order for that to happen, you have to ask the question, was she supposed to come back? Is she really the killer? Let's look at the situation. Sidney goes into a bathroom that very much resembles the one that the bathroom girls were in. However, she sees the shoes underneath the stall. She opens up the stall, and Angelina is there holding a ghost face mask. She explains to Sidney that she's only holding it because she's going to use it as a souvenir. The movie's done, the movie's over, because they're not going to be able to make the movie after these murders happen. So now she's got to have a souvenir for her efforts. So she's prepared to get a souvenir. Well, then there's also the fact that at another stage in the movie, you see her appear where she shouldn't even appear. She has run back towards an exploding building, and everybody else was running away. Suddenly, she pops up again right after Ghostface disappears. Now, a lot of fans do speculate that the Ghostface killer that we saw was in fact the Ghostface killer, and that she was the second one and she reemerged after that was done, but that there could have very obviously have been two in that scene to explain how one got away and one appeared so quickly. That's kind of the theme of Scream 3. A lot of fans speculate that there's too many coincidences where the killer vanishes and reemerges someplace else. Not to mention there are times when it just don't make sense that there is one killer. There was always supposed to possibly be two killers in the movie, but then they kind of switched it up and made it only one. Could Angelina Tyler have been one of those killers? And then you have to ask, why would she come back? And since Sidney don't know that she was the second killer, since Sidney only thinks that her brother was the killer, she has no reason to suspect this innocent girl of being a killer. So then this girl could come back and want revenge. So waiting even after all these years to get that revenge until the right opportunity arose wouldn't make sense for this character. It would also come as a complete shock, because fans would have to wonder if she is in fact the killer or not. What if she is just there to pretend to be the killer, and it could be revealed that the real killer is actually closer to Sidney than she thinks the entire time? That would be really cool and really unique. I think that would be something worth watching. It might be just the twist this movie needs to stand out. So that's where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. Is there anybody that you think I missed on this list that could possibly be someone big enough that fans would recognize that could come back? Because that's the real question here. Could somebody from the past that we recognize potentially come back? Is there someone on this list that I have missed? Let me know in the comments below. If you like the list that I made up here and you think that one of those people would be amazing to see, let me know that as well. As always, we want to hear from you guys, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below. Then don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. Make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we appreciate it. We just reached 1,000 subscribers and we'd like to keep it going. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.